Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was elected in 1933. A Democrat, he won the elections following the Republican presidency of Hoover that included the stock market crash and the beginning of the Great Depression. During his 1933 inaugural speech, FDR stated, "I am certain that my fellow Americans expect that on my induction into the presidency, I will address them with a candor and a decision which the present situation of our nation impels. This is preeminently the time to speak the truth, the whole truth, frankly and boldly. Nor need we shrink from honestly facing conditions in our country today. This great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive, and will prosper." FDR came into office with a strict plan of attack, the 3 R's: recovery, relief, and reform. During the first 100 days in office, FDR passed meaningful legislation to kickstart the 3 R's, such as abandoning the gold standard and passing new legislation to help the unemployed, farmers, elderly, and anyone that felt the hurt of the Depression. The New Deal was the collection of all the programs and projects created to get the American people back on their feet. Many were experimental, but FDR believed in trying many different options to solve the same problem. The restoration of America was what he was looking for. Although many saw the New Deal as the way out of America's struggles, FDR fought many critics. His policies in the New Deal were in a different direction than the hands-off administration of Harding, Coolidge, and Hoover. Roosevelt was considered a more hands-on president, constantly offering new programs to the people, trying to push America forward. However, because of this, he was accused of being a socialist, occasionally a communist. Many conservatives accused him of being too kind and helpful to the lower class, ignoring the upper class. Quite a few liberals, radicals, and Europeans, including some allies, were concerned and not a fan of FDR's New Deal. Minorities such as women, African Americans, and Native Americans were not as pleased either. After the second New Deal, Roosevelt was becoming frustrated with the Supreme Court not validating his reforms. He tried to add more liberals to the very much conservative court, known as court packing. This led directly into the recession of Roosevelt, only to create more criticism during his presidency. Roosevelt's innovations dramatically changed the character of American society. They deeply shaped the life trajectory of the so-called greatest generation, as well as the fates of millions born well after the Depression passed. It was no coincidence that African American aspirations for full citizenship, denied for a century, were substantially realized at last in that context of stable economic health and almost sarcastic national self-confidence. By any conceivable stance, the New Deal's reforms were a success, as gauged by the conspicuous upward social mobility of several post-war generations of both genders and all races and ethnicities.